morning. Kookaburras actually woke me up this morning about 5. Sun's about to come over the ridge. Well, it's about 6 I think, so it might be a bit longer. Rivers hasn't risen, so that's a good thing. No surprises in the night. So I'm going to pack up the tent and go find one of these tracks to go and explore. There is no better time to ride than early in the morning, when the soft light is still warming up the landscape. When there's orange guideposts, it means one thing: it snows here a lot. No eggs today, but what a cool truck. I had made it to Dargo with its iconic pub and its general store. This is where I pick up the next GPX file. It's called Dargo to Blue Rag to Dargo. So it's a loop starting here, making its way up to a section of the Blue Rag track at the far end, and then back via another track. I made my way up the mountain and through the clouds. So I've made it to the beginning of the track. The temperature has dropped. It's about down to 16, so I'm going to put a puffer on for the first bit. Just getting through those clouds was, chilled up. Yeah, I've no idea. Hopefully it's not too difficult that I'd need help. It looks quite good here. We'll see what happens by the time I get to the other side. There should be some views, I'm gathering, this high up. Came to a lookout, and it was promising for what may lay ahead. I started to descend down the other side of the mountain. I came past another track that was, well, let's say I would expect to see mountain goats on it. It just sort of plummeted down off the end. The track meandered its way down the mountain. I came to an opening, so I stopped, and I could see tracks climbing up the spine of one of the hills in this stunning high country. The track narrowed, with more large fallen rocks to watch out for. The track opened up onto a grassy area. It looked like I'd reached the bottom. With a river crossing, it definitely was. The water was so clear, I just had to be on the lookout for big rocks and holes and avoid them. Okay, the other side I came down you might call a single lane mountain road, where this looked more like a dirt track, a lot narrower, a bit more overgrown and a little rougher. I was really in dense bushland now. Trail kept climbing. just another one of these stupidly steep side tracks. I'm not sure how a four drives could make it up here. I know with the amount of gear I'm carrying on this bike, I wouldn't. So, best I stick to the track that I'm on. I reached a plateau, so I could cover the ground a lot faster. There were a few rough patches along the trail, but not anything technical. I rode into what only could be described as woodlands. I got to the bottom of another gully and started heading up a steep climb. The climb had some rather large humps across the track to stop water running down the track and destroying it. There is something cool about seeing a track ahead laid out like this. Now the trickier part, heading down steep descents. I started up another steep section, which was quite rocky. The track was deteriorating the higher I climbed. I came to a hairpin, which slowed me right down. With the next section being rather steep as well, I was hoping the track durability of the bike would be enough to get me up. Come on, bike, you got this, hopefully. A flatter section. I think I'm good. It looked like I'd made it to the top. Well, not a bad view. Not a bad view at all. Now that was a lot of fun. The first part of the track is quite easy. It's, you could get one of these big GSs down there. Then it gets just a bit rougher, but even if you've only just been on dirt, it'd be great. Like that whole first section, if you're just getting onto dirt, it would be awesome. This last bit, it does get a little steeper, a little rougher. I wouldn't say it's hard, it's just a little more technical, I guess. And even the Himalayan at one stage, I could hear it was like kukunk, 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 trying to get up, but it made it. It wasn't too bad. It's a good thing about that bike. The only other thing I noticed was on the track that there were a few logs, or a lot of logs going parallel with the track, so you've got to watch out so they don't hit your pegs or feet because they can flick up, which wouldn't be good. But no, this place is pretty spectacular. And you actually can get a Wi-Fi signal up here. So you could camp up here and watch Netflix if you really wanted. But why would you? With views like that. So the GPX file I've got basically turns up here and comes down the hill. And I don't know if you can see the background, there's a track up the hill there. It looks quite steep, but can't see any of those humps for the water drainage. So hopefully it's not that steep that it needs water drainage off the side. I hope. There are some more tracks over here too, I can see in the distance. So this must just go on forever. So if you knew what you're doing, unlike me, it'd be a lot of fun.
I took the hairpin and, well, yes, it was steep. Very steep. Way steeper than I thought it was. I find it a little harder going downhill compared to going up, as you're more on the brakes and don't have that back wheel putting power down and getting some traction. The biggest issue I find is keeping the front wheel from sliding out, especially if you hit one of these large rocks. With the bike overweight because of all the gear and riding alone, I was happy just to plod my way down. Now that that's over, now for the fun bit, trying to get to the top of the next climb. I need to build up enough speed to keep the bike moving forward, but not so much that I can't pick a line through the rough stuff. I hope it's not as steep as what I've just come down, but it probably is. Oh, it feels like I might be a few horses short. I got the bike back up. Rolled it back into the bank behind me, which was a little flatter. Time for another crack. Okay, one more crack. Right about now, that new 450 Himalayan might be a better option. I could keep trying or go to plan B.
So, my bike's made it to the top. I've just come back down to get my gear. It stalled a couple of times, just the weight. So, decided to pull it off, ride the bike up, and that was easy. And then get the gear. It's probably that I refilled the side jerry cans because I wasn't sure where I was going, and not knowing, I thought this was a easy to moderate, which it is without the weight. So all the tent stuff, 10 litres fuel, and my camera gear, which is probably at least that, maybe 20. So as soon as I took that off, it was easy. But yeah, just the stall factor. But all's good. It's nice and cool breeze, so it'll make the sweaty walk up not too bad. So yeah, from looking up the top there, which was up there, it's steeper than it looks. We'll see what the next section's like. Made it to the top of the ridge, so now to repack the bike. I couldn't actually film coming up here on the bike because the camera was on my helmet and I took that off. It was a bit hot and sweaty.
Another climb, but this one didn't look anywhere near as steep. I built up speed again. I made it to the top of the climb, and again a stunning view of the mountains into the distance. I came across what might be a decent photo, so I jumped off to see if I could get a shot. I think the shot may have just a bit too much going on. Well, that is one stunning mountain range to be riding beside. The tree-lined road opened up to large alpine meadows. then back into more forests. With gates like that, I gather the whole area must be closed off during the winter months. It looks like they must have mustered the cattle up here for these green fields. This is basically the centre of town. Pub on one side and general store on the other. Quick stop at the general store to fill up with fuel, fill myself up with some food and get some water, and then I'm going to go find a track. Wouldn't come up on Google, so I asked the guy inside, the general store owner, and he assured me it's a good fun track and it's not too hilly. When opportunity arises, it's best to take it. Public toilets don't appear too regularly out here. I rode a few kilometres up the road until I came to a side road that turned to dirt. The inside of the corners were corrugated badly with braking bumps. I gather it's been a while since this road was graded. As I was riding along, something started to feel like it was dragging down the bike's speed, so I pulled over. That'll do it. First time I've ever gotten a rock stuck in the back of the brake pedal. There wasn't a GPX file for the route, so I needed to check the map occasionally to make sure I was still heading in the right direction. I started climbing again up another hill and came across another stunning view. More checking the map. Then a run of fast flowing tracks. Now there's something you don't see often these days, someone travelling by horseback. He even has his solar panel charging. Wallabies on the road. For those who might not be familiar with the difference between kangaroos and wallabies, kangaroos are mainly found in open flatlands, where wallabies are found in more dense forest and or hilly terrain. Kangaroos have longer, larger legs, which enables them to travel faster, where wallabies have shorter legs and smaller bodies to be more agile, to be able to move through dense forest and rocky terrain. I find myself on another track beside a small stream. I made it to the town of Oomo. I've seen that garage somewhere before. I pulled over at the IGA. In front of me was a very nicely restored EJ Holden. These, along with the Holden EHs, were the cool old cars to have when I was a teenager. I grabbed some food and water, and to make it an easy afternoon, I headed to a campsite nearby that I'd been to before, as it was one of the best spots to camp.
After a reasonably long day on the bike, I thought I'd come back to a old camping ground I've been at before. When I came back from Tasmania, I came through here. I camped just here. Slightly switched it up and camping about 10 metres away. Seeing I got here mid-afternoon, I thought I could get a swim in and just chill out, as tomorrow it's probably going to be another reasonably long day. Going to go, I think it's called Barry's Way, and it's basically the dirt alternative to get to Jindabyne instead of going the way I did last time on the road, which drops you back through Threadbow and all down through there. So yeah, set up tent and see if I'm brave enough to get in the water. Haven't quite decided.
With the tent set up, it was now time to test the water. My ability to not be able to handle cold water continues.
It may have taken me 2 to 3 minutes to get fully submerged, or 20. Doesn't matter. Just not good at getting into cold water. Once I'm in, it's great. I mean, that was really needed. It's actually really refreshing. But yeah, it's just that getting in. Oh well, now do nothing. Relax and chill out for tomorrow. Not a bad spot to be hanging out again.
After a full day of dirt roads, tracks, trails, river crossings, stunning views of the high country, and only dropping the bike once, it was time to call it a day and dream about what trails tomorrow could bring.